Are you struggling to handle a difficult client right now? Maybe you are so frustrated that you just want to wash your hands of them completely. You just want to fire your client and move on. Well, before you do, there's something you should know. It might be you that is the problem and not your client. Here's why. Hey guys, what's up? Nisha here. And before I dive in, I do want to remind you to hit the subscribe button below and the small bell button as well, so that you are always notified of future videos. Now, let's dive into this story that I have for you. So, it was 6 p.m. on a Wednesday evening, and I'd been to see the latest Rush Hour film, whatever one it was at that time. I had just walked out of the movie theatre, looked at my phone, and saw an email from my client in all caps, and I immediately knew I was in trouble. So here is what had happened. At the time, I was a website designer. That was my first business, and I had been designing a WordPress website for her. Now, here were a few of the mistakes that I had been making. To start off, I wasn't using a project management tool with her. We were just communicating through back and forth emails across dozens of threads, and it was a hot mess. I think there were something like 77 emails in total, all over the place. It was really hard for me to find what I was looking for and keep on track with the number of revisions that I was giving her. We'd also been using a pre-made template for her WordPress website, which, if you're not a website designer and you're unfamiliar with this term, it basically means that there is a limit to how much you can do with the website design. Now, I hadn't told the client this, so naturally she would ask me for X and Y, and I would always have to reply with, "I'm sorry, we can't do that," or "I'm sorry, this isn't possible," and just continually disappoint her and frustrate her over and over again. Another thing that happened was she would always message me on Facebook and not just stick to email, because I had not really set many boundaries with her. I didn't really want to come across as strict. I wanted to really please her. And another thing I had done was I'd only told her how many revisions she had once, which was at the start of the project. So naturally she forgot, and she would ask me for more revisions, and I would have to say to her, "I'm really sorry, but I can't give you any more than this," without charging you extra for them, which of course angered and frustrated her. I know this does sound like a nightmare client situation, but the problem was me and not my client. In a way, it was my fault that she was disappointed and angry, that she was constantly asking for more revisions, that she didn't understand the restrictions around her website design. Now, why was that? Because I hadn't set boundaries and expectations up front with the client. I wasn't organized, and I certainly wasn't professional. Would you agree? Comment yes or no below. Now, after I received that angry email, my friends took me to a pub across the road, bought me a glass of wine. I had a bit of a cry, I'm not gonna lie to you. I cried, and I proceeded to just moan and rant and rave about this client and how annoying she was and how frustrated I was and how I was even never going to work with clients again. Yes, I went that far as to vow that I would never work with clients ever again because of this one client. But in hindsight, I'm incredibly grateful for that client, because she made me realize that I couldn't keep charging my clients thousands of pounds and not delivering what they had purchased through a professional experience. That would make me a nightmare freelancer, the type that you hear clients telling horror stories about over dinner parties and things like that. And that was not something that I wanted to be. I wanted my clients to really enjoy working with me. I wanted them to work with me again and rave about me to their clients and their friends. And that wasn't going to happen, I realized, if I didn't clean up my client process. If you are really struggling with a difficult client right now and you're this close to firing them, then that may be the right option for you. I'm not saying don't do it, but what I do want to say is, first of all, listen to my next 2 points. Then make your decision. I have 2 questions that I want you to ask yourself. Number 1, did I, before working with this client, outline my boundaries and expectations up front, and then continue to repeat those boundaries and those expectations throughout my process. Just in case you don't know, boundaries are things like your work hours and where you will and won't communicate with your client. And your expectations are things like telling the client how long it will take for you to reply to their messages. That way, you don't get clients crossing that boundary of where to talk to you, so you don't get clients Facebook messaging you when they should be messaging you in your project management tool, and you don't get clients who are angrily messaging you 1 hour after they've messaged you initially because they expected an immediate reply. If you set boundaries and expectations up front and keep repeating them, then your clients will most likely stick to them. To be honest, most of us do try and set boundaries and expectations, but we do it once at the very start of the process, and we expect our clients to remember those things. But the thing is that your clients are very busy people. We all are. We lead very busy lives, and sometimes your client isn't being a pain in the butt because they want to be. They just literally have forgotten that you set that boundary or that expectation up front with them. So it's your job to remind them. Now, number 2, I want you to ask yourself, was the process that I took my clients through organized enough? The reason is because, and I'm sure I've said this in other videos, but your clients really do associate being organized with being professional. The two things are one in the client's mind. So if you are unorganized and unprofessional, you're going to come across like an amateur. And particularly if your clients have paid you hundreds or thousands of dollars, this is going to be really frustrating for them, and it's going to be really stressful and confusing for them as well. When this happens, your client kind of has a right to feel annoyed. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it is your unorganized client process that has caused your clients to turn into nightmares. And that is something that you have to own up to. It's something that you have to take responsibility for before you can actually do anything to change that. Now, if you want to organize your client process, but you just aren't sure where to start, then don't worry, because I have a free roadmap for you. It's called the Roadmap to Organize Your Online Service-Based Business. And it will teach you not only how to organize your client process, but also the other systems and processes that you need to streamline, that you need to organize in your business. So I will link to that below, or you can go to nishawillery.com/roadmap and download that today. But I hope that you've enjoyed this video. So comment below and let me know, what was your biggest takeaway? Have you ever had a nightmare client, and do you think that it was your fault? Or was it strictly the client's responsibility and just them being a pain in the butt? Whatever your answer is, go ahead and comment below, let me know. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to show me that you liked it.